Woohoo. Hello. I'm taking it you're a CS person and you're affiliated with these two CS people?
Fortunately.
Yes. There's a yellow piece of paper going around for those who would like to have the slide deck and everything afterwards.
We've signed up. Is that enough, or we need to write it down?
I'm not exactly sure how it works, so write it down just so I'm sure. I know people online will be able to get the link, but I don't want anyone to feel like they didn't get something. So promise to follow up after. So is this a summer program that you're in? Great. And what's the name of the course? If you don't mind.
Teacher training.
Teacher training. Lovely.
Pedagogy.
Lovely.
What's PLP stand for again? PL.
Professional.
Learning.
Language.
Professional language.
Language program. I'll go for that. Okay. Well, Andrew, think it's okay for me to start?
Give it a moment. People are
Okay,
discussing.
people are still coming in, so
Give it another.
that's fine. Yeah, right, clearly.
I did.
That's a little worse thing is when I'm trying to decipher somebody's and I'm not sure what it is.
Coming from a teacher perspective.
Right? So how long?
So these guys, these folks are all university level teachers and professors and instructors in their various
Countries.
universities that they come from.
Yeah.
And they're here working on like kind of Western pedagogy methods, you know, like including AI and
Good.
yeah.
Glad to help. I'm
So
sure it's been
development
interesting.
and curriculum development, things like that.
How far along are you in the program? Are you middle?
Yeah.
And you're about the middle?
No.
So you'll be here for another couple of weeks. Yeah.
Of course, we're taking a vacation. We're in the middle.
We've been following the Summer of AI things. They haven't been able to attend everything, but we're hopefully that recording, I think, will work especially well with us. And,
Yeah.
so I hope I can have that in time.
Yeah, you know, I missed it too, so I'm going to be looking for that. Hi.
It was really good. It was
Yeah.
really good. The second
That's what I
half
heard.
especially really-
That's what I heard, especially. Yeah. Well, I'll give folks a minute to get set up. We will, you are invited to use your laptops and follow along. If you didn't bring a laptop or if you prefer to just watch and listen, that is fine. For the lady who just came in, there's a yellow piece of paper going around. You want to just, if you want to put your email address down, I'll be happy to send you the slides afterwards. This way you don't have to take pictures and other things. And Andrew, I will wait for you to give me the thumbs up. Ready? Okay. Well, hello and welcome everyone to the Creating Digital Storybooks with AI Tools. My name is Ava Wolf. I'm here at the University of Illinois. I work in the Department of where would I work? In the Center for Teaching and Learning, Center for Innovation in Teaching and Learning. I work primarily with faculty, course redesign, resource development. Of course, pedagogy is knitted into that. I also teach a course in the informatics program, which some of you may be familiar with. And in fact, the topic I'm going to be talking about today is something I have used with my own, thank you very much, that I have used with my own students. So I've used it for a couple of semesters and I know that it works pretty well. I've also taught it at a couple of, smaller conferences. And so I think you will find this useful. At least I hope you will. So let's take a look at what some of the benefits of digital storybooks are. Well, first of all, stories themselves, as you know, are very valuable and they're a great teaching tool. When students can connect to the story content, they not only feel closer and more connected to the material and the ideas, but there's an empathy involved in that as well. So we know that stories are valuable, and digital storybooks are just a way of helping to build students' repertoire with AI fluency in this case, but also just digital literacy in general, which I think we can all agree is a worthwhile tool. I have seen this work very well independently when students are working alone. I've also seen them work in pairs. So this is a way to build some not only engagement, but also opportunities for collaboration. And I think it's a lot of fun, gives students an opportunity to be creative. So let's take a look at a couple of examples from my class. Now, I'll start by telling you that my class is on the role of play in life and art. So for this assignment, I had the students create a punny story. So those are familiar with both visual and verbal puns. That was the goal of this assignment. That's not for everyone, but that's what this assignment was. And you could see this one was a Van Gogh inspired story. This one is about a little rabbit and stuff, but they all have puns written into them. For our
Can you just explain maybe what a pun is?
Sure. A pun. Let me
It's like a
think.
play on words.
It is a play on words. It's often a word that's spelled the same or sounds the same, but can mean different things. Like dough could mean dough that rises and makes bread. It could also be slang for money. So that's just one kind of example. When I teach this, I have a whole slew of examples. Right now, I can't call one to my head.
Yeah.
But if you have one, feel
Yeah,
free
no,
to.
it's just when you make, and then you make a joke.
Yeah.
Because the words are the same, or you would
Exactly.
get confused at the meaning or something like that. That's a.
So meow, that sounds perfect. So you kind of see what I mean as an example of a pun with the use of the word purr in perfect for a cat who's talking. So that's just one example. But less people think that we can only use, this tool for fun things. We could also use them for some serious things. And that's one of the points that I want to get across today. Now, I'm no mathematician, but some of you are, and you might be familiar with Fermat's little theorem. And I imagine it could be a little hard for students to grasp sometimes. So I've created a little tutorial which explains how it works. And it gives some particular examples. Here's how it's used for RSA encryption. Here's how it's used for primality testing. And here's how it's used for modular arithmetic. And so we have a couple of examples here. So what I'm getting to is that while we could have a lot of fun with stories, and we do, I'm trying to get you to be thinking about how you could not only get students to create creative interpretations and stories of related to course content, but you can also encourage your students to develop tutorials, graphical tutorials that will help everyone understand more complex ideas, as is the case of this for maths too. Now, this is a little dry, this tutorial, so let's keep going. So what I did was have a CoPilot generate a variation on the Fermat's little theorem. I don't want your eyes to glaze over because believe me, I'm no mathematician, but I want you to see how you can create a fun story that also accomplishes the goal of teaching students what this means. And it's all illustrated. And there's a cute little story here where the students learn about how the theorem works. And in the end, they get pizza because they use the code to unlock a refrigerator. And at the very end of the story, they get pizza. So it's a cute little twist on the story, but you can see that you can really have a lot of fun with this. And a story that's kind of engaging like this is going to be read and looked at by students more readily than perhaps a dry chapter from I'm not saying you should throw out your textbooks, but this is to enhance your work. So I'll show you one more. And these are all created with Adobe Express and other tools, which I'll get to in a minute. And this one is about rocket science. And you'll notice that it's a little bit younger looking imagery, but still gets the basic concepts. There's Newton, there's Tsiolkovsky, if I've gotten that right. There's how you have to design for aerodynamics, and then there's the launch day works. So you've seen kind of a range of things that that we can do with this. And I want to encourage you to be thinking about that. We're actually going to build something very similar to the rocket science story. So let me go back to where it was. And go ahead and be ready to, with these three tabs to open. These are the tools we're going to be talking about. CoPilot, Microsoft 365, Adobe Express, and Adobe Firefly. Now, once again, I want to remind everyone not to fret. All of these, this whole slide deck is designed to be a step-by-step instruction guide. So if you miss something along the way, don't worry. It's going to be provided for you, and you don't have to follow along with anything if you don't want to. In fact, for your convenience, I have created not only a box folder link that has the slide deck, but I also have created a Word file with all the assets for a story that you can build yourself right now today. So Andrew, if you would please pop that link into the chat, that box link will take people to not only a folder that has all of the slides, but it will also have this Word file. So it occurs to me, how are folks here going to open the Word file?
You want us to be online? Do you want us to be Zooming?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, you may want to. I didn't think about that before, but let's see. Could you put that Word file in? Oh, but it doesn't matter because the folks in here have to get it. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Well, let me walk you through it nonetheless, and just know that you will have a body of assets that you could play with right away. Certainly, you're welcome to generate your own things, but sometimes it's helpful to learn how to do something when you have the assets given to you. So let's move along, and we'll start with that. So if you are online, go ahead and open the Word file Story 1. You'll want to take a look at the contents, which has a prompt included. It also has the text, the full text of a story, and it has a number of images. So are you getting online to try to open that? Okay, for those, you might want to take a minute to get online. That you might prefer to be able to open that. Even though I'm sure you'll be able to follow along, I'd like you to have what you need.
Recording in progress.
Ooh. You need to turn your sound off.
Is there some Zoom account available? Zoom account.
An hour before.
Yeah. Well, go ahead and turn your sound off because
It is.
it's too disruptive.
It is off.
Okay. Andrew, any ideas?
Making a shortcut for access.
Okay. So are you saying get out of it, out of the?
Yeah, that'll be a little fast.
Okay, go ahead and get out of of Zoom, because then we're just having this crazy feedback. And folks online, just bear with us for a moment. And again, don't worry, because even if it seems a little wonky right now, by the time you leave here, you will have everything you need and you'll be able to go through this on your own. Shall I move on?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you are able to open the file, you'll see that it has a prompt. It has the text of the story and has images. You might want to take a moment to practice downloading or copying a couple of images to your desktop. If you're not connecting with that right now, that's okay. We'll just keep moving on, and I'm happy to stay afterwards and walk anyone through it who wants a little more care. I just didn't think about it. I thought about the people online. I didn't figure out how to go. There's Andrew is writing that up on the board for those who want to go and access a Go Illinois link to the Word file. These are for people in the room. Okay. Of course, we got the worst marker and the worst dry erase marker. So it's go.illinois.edu/Ava Storybook. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Ava Storybook. So give you a moment in the room to go to that in your browsers. The rest of you are waiting patiently online. I thank you for that. I hope those online are taking a few moments to download or save a few images to your desktop. It'll make the next few steps go faster. All right, I see a mix of people's readiness. That's go.illinois.edu/Ava, AVA, storybook, singular. Okay.
And you want us to open the PowerPoint?
I want you to open the Story 1 Word doc. Show of hands, we're following along? Okay, so I've tried to make this simple because as you can imagine, you've got several windows open and you're going to be copying and pasting and you're going to be moving things from one place. So it gets a little hairy, but I promise you, once you've done it once, you will see the logic of it. And to try to make it a little smoother, I've created these steps. So we're going to talk about 4 steps for building your storybook. And the first is to generate text for your story. So for those of you who wish to go to CoPilot by themselves, you can. Those who wish to create their own prompt, feel free. If you want to copy and paste my prompt from the Word doc, go ahead and do that and pop it into CoPilot right now. Let's not worry about the lighter blue stuff for a moment. The reason I'm giving you the assets is to kind of speed up the process and help you get a successful result. And this is what it looks like in CoPilot. You've put your prompt in and you press go, and CoPilot is going to generate a story for you. Are we seeing that? Okay, good. So the next thing is to review and to look for changes. Now, as you all know, AI is not perfect. So especially those with math formulas or philosophical positions or any other specific content does need to be checked for accuracy. And I think you know that. Similarly, AI doesn't always do it right the first time. So feel free, if not this time, then when you're on your own, to regenerate your asks so until you get the story in its finished form that you want. When you're done, you could leave it in CoPilot, or you could copy the whole thing out and move it to a file on your desktop for safekeeping. That's what I usually do. While you're copying this out or just looking at your story, think about how you might break it up into some segments, because these sub-segments or these sub-parts are going to become the pages for your storybook. So that's just pretty straightforward. All right, now, step 2, we're going to build the story pages in Adobe Express. So navigate to Adobe Express, and you'll see that when you get there, I feel like I've tried to put a lot of arrows and stuff in. Hopefully this is clear for people to follow along. You go to Adobe Express. When you get there, it's a little confusing about what to do. You're looking for web page. You're going to choose web page. That's the first item there. People are following along? I'm looking for Saad. You following along?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay, good. When you choose web page, it's going to give you this additional window with other options and things to choose for. You can go ahead and close that. You certainly can explore it some other time, but for our purposes here, you can close that window. And what you're left with is this dark page, this so-called title page, where it's asking you to put the title in. You can copy and paste, or you can type your own title in there simply by clicking right on that space. And I'll give you a moment to do that, to add your title and a subtitle if you wish. You could even call it sample story or something like that for simplicity. Okay. Now, once you've added that, there's what it's going to look like. But I want to show you something that's a little tricky, so I want to warn you about this. When you put your title in, you'll notice that there's a little plus sign in the dark area. But if you page up a bit more, you'll see there's another plus sign in the white area underneath. So when you are in that title space, clicking on the plus sign in there is going to allow you to make changes only to that page. So it's a little tricky. What you want to do is you want to click on in the white area, because that's going to allow you to advance to the next page. And I'll show you what that looks like. When you've advanced to the next page, or when you click on that, another little window will open, and you have a number of choices for how you'd like to design your page. For our purposes here, and in the examples I showed earlier, I like the split screen or the split layout format. So what I'm going to suggest is that you click split level, which will inform Adobe how you want to design your next page. Following okay? And give me a nod. Okay. When you do that and you've advanced to the next page, you notice that you have two sides, because it's created a split page. On one side, it's inviting you to add images. On the other side, it's inviting you to add text. We're going to focus just now on adding text from our story. So when you click on that little button, that little plus sign, you'll notice it opens the window saying, okay, here are your choices. I'm choosing text. Now you're going to go back to your Word document, wherever you have it, or back to CoPilot, wherever your story is where your story is stored. And you're going to copy a portion of your text and bring it into the white side of your Adobe Express page. And you could see that it just populates that page. Now you can manipulate it a little bit, you can separate it, you can make corrections. Of course, this is your text to play with. But once it's there, you can continue to advance to the next pages. So I'm going to give a couple of minutes here for people to copy and paste another page or two from your document or from your CoPilot print story, and populate just the text side into your Adobe Express page. It's a lot of jostling around. You got to, go from one place and then go to the next place. And so it's a little bit of jumping around. How's it going?
We don't know where to end the title.
Where to end where to end the title? Okay, so how to go to the next page after the title? Page up a little bit and you'll see the white space with a little plus sign. Let's see if I can go back. Okay, let me go back a little bit. So you see how there's this little, is this what you mean? If you look up here, I'll go back one more. So the title page at this point is dark, and you're going to go to the little white area, little plus sign underneath your title page. And I'm happy to stay afterwards and do this one. Usually anyway. So we're about to put more text into our Adobe Express page. And I'll ask you to maybe raise your hand or give me a plus sign when you've added a couple of pages. Anybody asking any other question? No? Yeah. Yeah, another minute? Sure, go ahead. Benjamin, I know you came late. There's a page of assets. There's a Word doc that has assets that you could use. Yeah, that's already been, created for people to use. Coming along? Once you get the hang of it, you should be able to put most, if not all, of your story text by simply advancing to the next page and adding more text.
Yeah.
Is it coming along okay for you? Okay.
You're
You're good. Okay. Is everything okay here at this table? You're okay? Okay. Saad, you're okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, if you're struggling, don't worry. I'm happy to sit with you afterwards and walk through it again. No worries. I'm going to move on in the interest of time to step 3, which is to generate images to illustrate your story. Remember, 4 steps, we're at step 3. And we'll start by putting an image behind, or an image for your title page. And again, remember the plus sign that's on the title page is going to open a window like this. And you're going to choose photo because you'd like to add a photo image behind the title on your title page. So you're clicking on, I'll go back one. You're clicking on that little space, really almost anywhere in the title page, and it will open up a window for you to choose photo. Okay, everybody good. Now, when that is engaged, you'll notice that in the far left corner, a new window will pop open, and it's photos, and you're in the Adobe Express system. And you'll notice that you have two choices. You could upload pictures from your device, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But what we're going to look at now is we're going to generate an image in the Adobe system. And as you can see from my example, I've typed rocket science, because this is what my story is about, rocket science, into the little box. And a library of images is going to open up for you, as it has here. And you can choose any image you like from there. I like the one with the rocket coming out of the box. As you can see on this image in here, I just like the way it looks. I like the framing of it. But you can pick something else if you like. Everybody okay? Okay. So once you've picked that image, it's going to automatically fill the screen behind. This is for your title page. You now have a title page image. So your words are there and your image is there. But I'm going to show you a little trick. Remember how the image had its nice blast at the bottom? Well, this isn't showing that. So I'd like to adjust the image a little bit, and here's how you do that. When you click on that image, a little window will open up and you will see this option, focal point. And what that will do when you click on focal point, it will bring you it'll show you your image, and you'll be able to move that little dot around to try to frame and get a better framing of your image in that window. And that's what I did. So that now I've got some of the blast in there. I've improved the look. It's just a little trick. It's not that important, but it's a little trick that will help you get a better result. So there we are. We've got the title page and the title image, and we're going to move on, and we're going to now start putting our images into our book. But I want to give you a little time out for a minute. And I want to sort of go over briefly some different ways of generating AI image. There are lots of ways, but I'm going to talk about 4 ways. So the first is what you've already seen and done, which is to go through Adobe Express and go through their library and choose something. So we've already seen one, which inside Adobe. Another is, as mentioned before, you can take images from anywhere, from your phone, from Google, from other places, all fine. The third is to consider generating images through Adobe Firefly. And we can have a lot of fun with this. My students had a lot of fun generating photos with this. Adobe Firefly, I won't go into that now, but Przemek Kabozek here offers a terrific workshop on introducing you to the use of Firefly. And so you might want to practice a little bit on your own. I won't go into great detail here, but when you've engaged Adobe Firefly, like everything else, it's got a space where you can type in the description of the image you want it to generate. That's a text to image quality. And you notice that several images have been generated here. Of course, Adobe Firefly also gives you all of that navigation on the left side, which allows you to play with the images and adjust them and so forth. When you're happy with, or when you've found 1 or 2 that you like, you simply click on that image in the Adobe Firefly space, and you have the option to download or save the image as in some way. Now, I'm a little old school, and sometimes I like to take screenshots of a portion of the picture. So this is just showing you how I've done that, and now they're all sitting on my desktop, ready for what will be the next step of loading those images into my story. You could also download, and then, of course, here's what they look like when you open up your download. There's a little thumbnail there, and that's just another method. So you can use whichever method you prefer. The fourth approach, which is what I'm going to recommend here today, interestingly, it even just as recently as a few months ago, CoPilot didn't give me very good image generation. I don't know if that was your experience too, but it's gotten much better. In fact, it's gotten so good that I'm going to recommend it. And in fact, the images that are in your Word doc were all generated by CoPilot. And the benefit of that is that while you're in that CoPilot space, it already knows what your story is. And it'll even give you a little prompt. Do you want me to create images? Which you could certainly do. And when I did that, I got some terrific results, and as you can see in the Word doc, but wah, wah. So it's possible to run out of daily chits. You have a daily allowance. It's possible that you have over or exceeded your allowance, and you will get this message that your limit has been met. No worries, you come back tomorrow and you'll just do it again. But just know that there are real limits. Even Firefly has some limits. I made a really extensive book project and I generated quite a lot of images. Lo and behold, I ran out of credits till like July 28th. I can't fill in again for another month or something like that. So yeah, that was a few weeks ago. So there are limits, but once you're in, this is taken from CoPilot, you can simply save the image as we discussed before. If you're in your if you're in my document, you probably have already saved a couple of images and you are now ready to go. So this is a little bit of a detour, but what we're going to do now is go ahead and work in your Adobe Express document and start bringing in those photos that you've downloaded or otherwise collected. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to bring in. Remember, you're going to the dark side of the half page, and you're going to click on that plus sign where it's going to say, okay, you have some choices. You choose photo, and it will take a photo from your device. Once that little window opens on the side, you can choose, I want a photo from my device, as opposed to a photo from Adobe generated. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to pop even just a couple of images into your developing storybook. I see a smile. That's a good thing. Yeah, it's working. So go ahead and advance through to the next page, remembering to, just scroll up. When you get to the next page, you can add another image and so on until you've populated your whole storybook with images. And then as mentioned, you're welcome to use the assets I've provided for you in that Word document. Sometimes it's very helpful to have a model to work from. Once you've gotten the hang of the process, you can certainly generate your own later on.
Yes.
So it's working. Everything's good. Thumbs up. I'll give you one more minute to add a couple more images.
Oh, here.
Well, that's a good sign.
Where did you get the picture? I just lost Oh, they're creating.
You created them yourself. That's great. So how many people used images from my Word doc? Anybody? From the Word doc I provided, the assets I provided? No one? Good. Okay. Where did you get your images? From CoPilot. Okay. Great. And are you happy with the results? Yeah, it's quite amazing. Yeah. Don't forget to download and save that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Where else did we get images from? Anyone use Firefly? You're playing with Firefly. Yeah. It takes a little longer, but you'll get some lovely results. Where do you get them? Firefly? Anyone else go into the Adobe library and fish around in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Sarah, in the back? Where'd you get your images?
Google.
From you Googled them. All right, that's great. So you have this nice variety of things, and now your book is nearly complete. But we have one more step. We want to finish the story, save it, and publish it, which I should put into this slide. Here we go. First thing you'll want to do in the upper left corner is to give your story a name, like you're naming your file. And I've put that here as an example, rocket science story, or whatever it is your story is. Take a moment and do that. What are you calling your story?
Same as you.
Okay, rocket science story. Okay. After you've done that, in the upper right corner, you'll see a purple tab, a purple thing that says share. And when you click on share, you noticed you have a couple of options. You could invite collaborators, so a couple of you could work together on a document if you wish to do so. Or you can publish to the web, which is what I'm going to suggest we do right now, because you're on your own laptops. When you publish to the web, if you've forgotten to create a title, it will prompt you again, or it will show you the title that you have created. The author is you. You can turn that on. That little button can turn on. You can decide whether you want others to remix. I think that's fine if you're collaborating, but you might not. And of course, in the end, you can create a link, which is what I'm going to ask you to do, is to create a link. That link comes up in the window there. It can be copied and shared through a variety of ways. You could also email it to yourself, which I recommend, or to somebody else. So, everybody saved their doc? Published? Giving you a minute there. Yeah, get some nodding heads. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, just because it's published doesn't mean it's forever. You can go back in and edit at any time you want. And in fact, I recommend, because there's a word, you'll miss a word, or you'll change an image or something like that. So when you go in and edit, it knows that you've edited, and it'll give you a little reminder. Want to republish? I know we noticed you made some changes. Republish, and you'll simply go through that process again. Click republish, and your link will be updated and correct. Now, what I've done in the past is I have the students give me that link in Canvas, and that is how I grade their assignment. I also have them pop that link into a shared Google Doc so that everybody can read everybody's stories. Now, as we're moving along in time, I thought I would ask, now that you've seen this and created a little bit, how do you think you would use this? Any thoughts? I think I've shared a few of my ideas. How might you use this in your class?
Game one as an introduction.
As an introduction to an introduction to a topic. Yeah, that would be great. Oh, I'm sorry you have to go, but thank you. Mhm. How about other ideas? You, sir, in the back, how would you use it in animal science?
Syllabus.
You can create
All
a,
the time.
yeah. It's funny, you should say that. What's your first name?
Jason.
Hey, Jason. So one thing I just read the other day, we're getting ready for the first day of the term, and I'm pulling some things together for an information table, and I came upon something called the liquid syllabus. Have you ever heard that phrase? But what it basically is an Adobe Express page. But I think you're absolutely right, Jason. You could make a good-looking syllabus like this as a nice alternative to the dry. And so you got links in here, you got photos in here. You could really have a lot of fun with this. How else might you use it? How about you, Lisa?
I would give it as a project to my students,
Mhm.
see what they came up with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great project. I mean, it gives the students, you can see it's a little bit of challenge. You gotta figure stuff out, but you're asking the students to use a variety of the AI tools. They're using them in the service of a particular assignment. So yes, go ahead.
Like in teaching business English.
Teaching,
I mean, yeah, if going to cover the merging of the company,
Ah.
maybe can invite the students to create such kind of stories like kind of company, they try to merge with another company.
Yeah.
I think that's story.
That's a great idea because you've got these two different companies. How are they coming together and what are the benefits now that we have from this union?
Interesting.
Yeah,
The base and how to solve it, and make it a complete story.
I love that idea.
You could kind of develop your own case study, like you develop
Sure.
your own case.
Case,
Analyze it like you would, but it would be your case. You could create it.
quite right. Right. You mentioned business English. I was thinking that for those for whom English may be a second language, I think of all the colloquialisms, all the oddities that are in English, for example, or perhaps your own native languages, and you could have this way of showing the word and showing what it means, and so that could help. How about this table? How might you use it? Any ideas?
Maybe in the class, I can ask the student to describe the pictures,
Ah,
and then they can use the Firefly or CoPilot to generate a picture and see if their description is vivid.
I think you've got a really good point because a good part of AI training is learning to write good prompts. Whether English is your first language or not, the quality of the prompt really determines the quality of your output. So it's an excellent practical activity to have students, work on writing prompts to see what they get. I mean, the first prompt I wrote, I thought, gosh, that's not at all what I meant. But it's very interesting how you could see how to improve your descriptions. Saad, how about you?
For me, when you give the student project, sometimes it's not easy for them to understand what we need. Coding languages,
Yeah.
network,
Mhm.
and cybersecurity courses as well. So I think using pictures and explanation of this technique, I think it will be much easier for them to understand what we need from them.
I'm really glad to hear that. I am not a math person, so I had to dig around and make sure I was getting a good image of the equation because the CoPilot didn't generate it really well. So that's something that you're going to have to make sure that the coding and the equations that you're teaching are accurate. But it's as simple as creating that picture and then popping it into your document. Good. Well, thank you very much.
So
Yes.
which the Chinese culture,
Mhm.
especially
Oh.
maybe your calligraphy, translation, calligraphy, and there doesn't story culture story background.
Oh,
So I think I may create some very vivid things.
yes.
So about the story, and instead of I just for
That's an excellent idea. So for those who are listening online, so to put the Chinese symbol and then have the story of what the pictogram is standing for is a great way to teach the language.
I need to teach students how to appreciate the so many classic painting and the authors, the background,
Ah,
the story of how they learn and they learn from their friends and their activities. And also, I think I may use these tools to create the process about the character revolution, like
oh, yes.
the
Mhm.
different the style from pictographs,
Mhm.
graphical script, clerical script, and
Yeah.
regular script and running script. I think the process, if this way
To illustrate that. Yeah. Oh, those are great examples. Thank you very much. Anything else? Is there anything online? Is there anyone jumping in online, Andrew, that has some thoughts? Okay. Well, I thank you very much for coming. Here is my email address. Please go ahead and make a note of it. I am happy to sit with you and discuss. I'll stay after today if anyone needs me to, but I'm happy to sit with you on a one-on-one, and we could talk about using this method or other methods that I use or that I'm aware of, and we could work together to help make your course even more engaging using a variety of digital and AI tools. So there you go. Yes.
Yeah. Question.
Sure, Jason, what's up?
Digital accessibility.
Yeah, you've hit the big question there. You are 100% right.
I saw how we could add alt text to an image, but for the text somewhat.
Yeah. I'm struggling with that a little bit myself because I'm a big digital tool user in my teaching, and I want to be accommodating, but I don't want to give up my digital tools. So one thing I've tried, just started doing, is asking AI to come up with some alternatives. So that may be something to explore. Maybe they don't use this activity, but they do something comparable. I think you mentioned alt text. AI can generate alt text from you, although you'll want to make sure that it's accurate. Any other suggestions? Przemek, have you dealt with that question before? Not to put you on the spot, it's something.
Sorry to say,
Mhm.
you caught me in a daydream, and I.
No, that's quite all right. I mean, I think we are all struggling with that question, and so I don't have a great answer for you, Jason, but I think it's something we're all going to be stepping through together, especially as the Title II regulations become nearer. But I believe where there's a will, there's also a way, and I don't want to give up my tools, can't pry them out of my hand, but I do want to make them accommodating for other users. I'm going to go ahead and pop this. This is a QR code to a quick survey where you can give me some feedback on how this workshop worked for you. Andrew is also popping the actual link into the chat. I'm happy to have your feedback, and we collect feedback on all of our sessions. And I want to remind you that this has been recorded, and it will be made available soon, probably another week or so. Don't look for it tomorrow, but in another week or so. And then, of course, you have my email address. So happy to do a one-on-one or even a small group consultation if you want to talk about other pedagogical methods for using AI in teaching.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming in too.
Yeah, I'll look for that, then I'll do it.
Well, good luck with the rest of your session. I wish you, good times and good learning experiences. Feel free to reach out to me again. Lisa, if you want to organize a small online meeting or in-person meeting, I'm happy to accommodate you.
Thanks. Now we're kind of accumulating all different examples of things.
Yeah, a little overwhelming maybe, but
Yeah.
yeah. And Jason, if you want to think about ways to look at specifically animal sciences, happy to brainstorm with you a little bit. I know quite a few